The technology that I'm commercializing has been developed within the DoD circles and held reasonably tightly, pretty tightly actually. So most people aren't aware of the real game-changing possibilities here. An order of magnitude faster or more detailed data products coming out of these devices. And that really opens up a lot of possibilities that people perhaps had said in the past, Lidar data would be great to have, these kind of 3D point clouds, but it's just way too expensive. And that in fact has been true by and large. Either it's way too expensive or you have to have these massive lasers and it's not eye safe and all that sort of thing. What we're talking about here is a way to really change that paradigm so we can have much less powerful lasers, so they're much more eye safe. And we collect the data much more rapidly and therefore, in many cases, more cheaply. It makes me think about companies that could use this in places that they haven't before. I've certainly thought about automotive applications, and there are a lot of people working that problem. My sense right now for our technology for automotive is that it's too expensive. But there are applications that are medium between these high altitude airplane wide area data collectors that are very expensive in these very small automotive systems. There's kind of medium level systems that you might put on a UAV or that you might, a surveyor might use when they go do a as-built building survey to measure where all the window corners are and all that sort of thing. To the forestry applications, to urban planners. Lots of opportunities like that to use this kind of LiDAR sensor where in the past it had just been way too expensive. I had an interesting conversation with someone here at MIT in the urban planning department who wanted to understand, it was interesting, the historical time frame of when different parts of a building may have been built. And so she was studying kind of one block area in the Back Bay and trying to characterize by looking at the 3D structure of the buildings, well, this component was built at this time and therefore would have followed, you know, a particular level of earthquake susceptibility standards, building codes. Maybe this other addition was put on 50 years later, and so it would have been built to a different set of codes, and then this top part was built even later. And so she was using 3D data to help ascertain which parts of the buildings were built at different points, so as to proof of concept study to say you could actually expand this to whole cities and assess the earthquake vulnerability of the infrastructure in entire cities. By looking at the 3D nature of the buildings and trying to understand when they were built and therefore what codes were followed. It's an application I would have never thought of, but by having inexpensive and detailed 3D data, it really enabled this entire application in this entire field of study that I wouldn't have thought of at all. But I think it's really clever.